Classified check, as you heard at the start of it, Arsenal dropped points at Sunderland, so it might mean that they don't run away with the title after all. I know people have been talking about this for a little while, but a reality check was almost certainly necessary. The Gunners do stay top of the table. Their unbeaten run continues, but perhaps that relentless march of long throws, corners and free kicks that was being described by some that will take them to the title very quickly has been all slightly overdone. Here's what Mikel Arteta had to make of the results.
It's been extremely demanding for the players and the squad because, as I said, we had a lot of injuries, a lot of games, very demanding games, and we were exceptional at it. So the players deserve massive credit for what they've done. And now, as you said, time to reset. They were going to go to the national teams, make sure they look after themselves. We come back and we are stronger.
Let's talk to Amanda Schiavi from the Same Old Arsenal podcast. Amanda, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for coming on. I sort of jokingly described the Sunderland goal later on in the game on Saturday as a kind of a useful corrective to some of the slightly more excitable people that follow football in this country. I imagine as an Arsenal fan you'd have been very happy with the 3 points, but do you understand what I mean about everyone kind of getting carried away?
Not everyone's getting carried away now. It's November, we've played 11 games, we don't have one striker available. I think we've done absolutely brilliant. We had 3 away games, Burnley, Prague, Sunderland. Sunderland are in the top 4. It's a little bit of an insult to Sunderland, to be fair. I thought they played a great game. Yeah. I think a point was very well, fair enough. Our legs were tired in the second half, and as I said, we haven't got a striker.
No, I don't. I think that's been slightly underplayed, actually, the fact that what Arsenal have been really good at so far this season is kind of coping with absentees when Odegaard's been injured, when some of the defenders have been absent, with the kind of expanded squad that Arsenal now have. Arteta's been able to shuffle things around, but if you do lose all your strikers, then that does present a problem that is quite difficult to overcome.
Yeah, it does. I mean, but the squad depth is amazing because of what Mikel did in the summer. And at the end of the day, you look at it like this, doing brilliant in the Champions League, top of the Premier League. I've got no complaints. We're in November. No one's getting carried away. I think it's a little bit of a narrative put out there for the press. 2 years ago, I think we were top at the same time. City have got Haaland, who is just like a machine. Liverpool have fallen off, but maybe they'll come back. It's November. No one's talking about the Premier League.
I'm old enough to remember sort of, early September when everyone said Liverpool were going to run away with the Premier League. Do you remember those days, that they'd spent all this money and they'd reinforced and Trent Alexander-Arnold left and they got better? Do you remember all that? That wasn't that long ago and everyone said, Liverpool are going to win it.
But let me tell you, we were playing Newcastle and they said, if we don't beat Newcastle, the league is over. And I said, it's September, it's October. Talk to me in April, At the moment, I think my team, I'm very proud of them, of everything they're doing. We just ran out of steam. Maybe he could have made a different substitution second half, but at the end of the day, Sunderland deserved the point, and I'm happy to say that.
Absolutely. Well, that is some of the more sensible sort of chat about this that we've heard, I think, because some of it increasingly this season just seems to be getting carried away. Now, you've already mentioned the fact that they've been able to problem solve so well, Arsenal, this season. Is that, dare I say, and tell me if this is wrong, what they seem to have done is they seem to have addressed some of the issues that they ran into in the last couple of seasons. And so that's why Arsenal fans are quite confident, perhaps, these days, is because the weaknesses that everyone knew about do seem to have been addressed. Is that fair?
Oh, absolutely fair. It's been phenomenal. When we, sit at the Emirates and we're looking at the bench, because I sit opposite the bench, and I'm going, what a bench we've got.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, with Martinelli now out and, Gyökeres now out, he's a bit weaker, of course. But to be able to bring on Waneri and the Hallam boys and, you're sitting there going, this is fantastic. Mascara does a brilliant job. You've got Ben White, you've got Lewis Skelly. And, we didn't have that. And that is why we didn't win the league last year, because of serious injuries. We didn't have the squad depth. It had to be addressed. It was addressed. Unfortunately, Havertz got injured and obviously they went for Eze. Fantastic. But we need those players back, and it does seem that after the international break, most of them are going to be back. So it's going to be really interesting to see, who he lines up with. We've got Spurs, our first game back.
on the Sunday, live on BBC Radio London, by the way, in case you can't face going in person. Because I was going to ask you about is that you talked about the injuries, but presumably, as we get into the kind of the dog days of winter and people start getting sniffles and muscle strains and the flu and what have you, if you can get the likes of Madueke, Havertz, I know that they're not all going to come back at once, but there are plenty of players. Gabriel Jesus, I can't remember when he's going to come back. I think that's going to be a while.
Well, they are coming back.
But they are coming back, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, they are coming back at once, apart from Jesus, who will be a little bit later. So we're going to have a plethora of strikers available. So where all these, I don't know what you call them, naysayers are saying that, they've lost 2 points on Saturday. We actually gained a point.
Yeah.
We were 1-0 down. Sunderland came for us. I thought Sunderland did really well. We didn't even turn up by first half, and second half we were great. It didn't help that the ref should have given us a penalty for an elbow in the face. But you know what? Each team can say that. I mean, you look at the game yesterday, for me that was never a penalty, and justice was done in the City-Liverpool game. But, you just got to ride with it. We've got the squad now, and that is why we are still top with no strikers. And I'm very, very proud of the boys.
Would you have lost that game last season, do you think, honestly?
1,000,000%.
Really? You really think so? Yeah.
We said this season, Burnley away, we wouldn't have kept the 1-0. That's the difference. That is the difference. The games that Newcastle, that we drew or lost, that is the difference. We're building that momentum, and it's a shame the injuries came, because again, we may have beaten Sunderland if we'd have had 2 or 3 of them now. But, we are where we are. We've still got a nice lead. We're top. What can I say?
And with the Champions League going well as well, do you feel, because of the strength of your squad, and you can tell by listening to your voice just how kind of good you feel about it all, are you okay with going, hell for leather on both fronts? Just keep going on every front and try and win the lot?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm of the older supporter, been going 50 years, and I want to see them win the Champions League before I I'm carried off in a box.
Oh, Amanda, I wasn't expecting to get into this territory with you this evening, but okay, you've got to win it now, folks, before Amanda shuffles off. This is important.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Because I was in the Stade de France the night we lost it to Barcelona.
Oh, yes, me too, yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to a final. Obviously, we haven't made a final since. And for me, and I know the younger ones want the Premier League. Listen, I'll take anything, any trophy. I'll take anything. But for me, my heart is with the Champions League. I just want to see us win it.
Oh, it's lovely, Amanda. And if you remember, that season, Arsenal had loads of injury problems. Like loads and loads and loads and loads of injury problems. Yeah. And they still got to the final. Imagine what they could do in a final with a full-strength team, like the sort of squad they've got now.
And that is why Arsenal fans are excited, because, the last couple of seasons, we were so close, last 2 or 3 seasons, but it just, because of the injuries and situations, and unfortunately, he addressed that in the summer. He completely addressed that. I mean, going in for Eze in the last week or so because of Havertz's injury, well, you sit there and you forget how many players. You've got Norgard, you've got Zubimendi's been phenomenal. You're forgetting all these players we've got. And even the older players. You've got Trossard playing so well, scored a beautiful goal on Saturday. And honestly, I'm in a really good place. The international break, I feel, has come at a good time so we can get our injuries back. Well, and then obviously we face our rivals. Well,
Amanda, I wasn't expecting us to all be confronted with our own mortality in this conversation, but you make a brilliant point, and I hope that you get the chance to revisit 2006 and with the right outcome. Thank you very much for your time. It's been great speaking to you.
And you. Thank you very much.
All the best. That's Amanda Schiavi from the Same Old Arsenal podcast. Phil Parry and I were in the stadium in 2006. Yeah. Matthew Flamini at left back. Do you remember that?
I do. Goalkeeper getting sent off.
I don't think. I'm trying to remember where the Flamini was at. And it was the centre halves were the Swedish chap, and I can't remember what his name was now. Sol Campbell only came back for the final. He was out for most of the season, if you remember.
Yeah.
Flamini at left back. Yeah. It was extraordinary.
Yeah,
and they led for so long.
They did, and it was only when Barcelona threw on Henrik Larsson that made a change. He changed the game, didn't he?
He won it for Arsenal. Oh, you were going to say something, Phil? Sorry, well, it probably wasn't about 2006.
The point that Amanda was making, and about the fact, and you asked her about would they have lost that game last year? Yeah. They've already picked up more points from some of those games that they've played in the equivalent games to last season. I think 9 points? So Fulham, for example, they won at Fulham this year. They drew at Fulham last year. The year before, they lost at Fulham over Christmas. So if you actually look at this Fulham, this Arsenal side, they're already picking up more points because of that strength of squad that they've got, I think, and it really, really helps them. And Sunderland are very good. I've seen that. Yes. I'm massively impressed by what they've done there, considering they're a new team, a coach that's only just sort of been working with them for a year or so. So many players signed. Good players, don't get me wrong. Yeah. So many players, and he's gelled them very, very... They've got that momentum at Sunderland. So the Stadium of Light is a very tough place to go. So Arsenal, I think, as Amanda says, it's only November. You don't lose something in November. You certainly don't win it in November. But I've said to Eddie now for a couple of weeks, I am still confident Arsenal can lift the title.
And 2 fronts as well. The Champions League clearly something is tugging on Amanda's heartstrings there with the Champions League.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's they got from a rivalry point. No, it's a derby point of view, but a rivalry point of view as well. They got very nervous in 2019 when Spurs got to the final, didn't they?
I don't think last year helped either, actually, to be honest.
No, but the Champions League is a bit different, and I do wonder. They were so close in 2006. If they'd been allowed to build their squad rather than pay for the building of the stadium where they would have gone.
Yep.
But obviously the construction of the Emirates had a bit of an effect on that. But I think, listen, they got quarterfinals 2 years ago, semi-finals last year. It's one more step to get to a final. If they keep everyone fit, that's what they've built the squad for, to be able to compete on multiple fronts.
Absolutely. And Amanda will be happy, which is the most important thing.
She sounded happy.
Yeah, no, to be fair, she did sound happy, but hope is a powerful thing, isn't it? And there are many, many good reasons for Arsenal to be hopeful at the moment. After the headlines are 6:30 and the latest travel news, we will try and synthesise the baroque chaos that occurred in the last 5 minutes or so at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on